6 areas in Luzon remain under tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 as Typhoon Aghon moves away from the Philippine landmass. In its 5 p.m. bulletin on Monday, May 27, Pag-asa lifts signal number 2, but some areas in Luzon are still under signal number 1. According to Pag-asa, the southwesterly wind flow enhanced by this typhoon will bring moderate to heavy rains over western Visayas and portions of Mimaropa in the next 2 days. The State Weather Bureau says Aghon is less likely to directly bring significant amounts of rainfall within the next 3 days. Typhoon Aghon was last located 155 kilometers east of Casiguran, Aurora, packing maximum sustained winds of 140 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 170 kilometers per hour. Aghon is seen to exit the Philippine area of responsibility on Wednesday afternoon or evening as a typhoon. A 7-month-old baby drowned while 2 others who were hit by falling trees died in Quezon province at the height of Typhoon Aghon. On Monday, May 27, Quezon police report that 4 fishermen spotted at around 11 a.m. the floating body of the baby in the waters of Barangay Ilayang Polo in Pagbilao Town. Investigators found that the victim and his mother were in their shack atop a fish cage in Tayabas Bay in Barangay Punta in neighboring Padre Burgos Town at the height of Aghon's devastation. Big waves pummeled their shelter, causing the baby to fall into the sea before being carried away by the waves. According to police, the mother of the baby claimed the body. In Lucena City, a 14-year-old was sleeping when a palm tree fell into their house in Barangay Ibabang Iyam at the height of the storm. Police say the tree fell into the stomach of the victim who died on the spot. Meanwhile, a 50-year-old farmer in San Antonio Town was sleeping alone around 10:30 a.m. inside his nipa hut when a huge acacia tree was uprooted and fell into the hut in Barangay Sampaga. The tree hit the victim who also died on the spot. The Philippines protested China's unilateral fishing ban in the South China Sea, which encroaches on the West Philippine Sea. The Department of Foreign Affairs says the Philippines protested the fishing ban through a diplomatic note as the ban includes the country's maritime zones over which Manila has sovereignty. China's unilateral fishing ban started on May 1, 2024 and is expected to last until September 16, 2024. According to the DFA, the unilateral imposition of the fishing ban raises tensions in the West Philippine Sea and the South China Sea. It adds that the moratorium directly contravenes the understanding between President Bongbong Marcos and Chinese President Xi Jinping to manage differences through diplomacy and dialogue and to de-escalate the situation at sea. The DFA notes that China's illegal order violated international law, particularly the final and binding 2016 Arbitral Award and the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS. Beijing asserts sovereignty in almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea. However, China's claim has been effectively invalidated by a July 2016 international tribunal that stemmed from a case filed by Manila in 2013. Oil companies are raising local pump prices by up to 40 centavos per liter effective Tuesday, May 28. In separate advisories, the oil firms announced a 40 centavo increase in the prices of diesel and gasoline per liter, while kerosene would go up by 30 centavos per liter. Shell Pilipinas and Petrogas will adjust their pump prices on Tuesday at 6 a.m. Caltex will follow suit at 6:01 a.m. on the same day, while Clean Fuel will be the last to implement the price hike at 4:01 p.m. The Department of Energy's Oil Industry Management Bureau said last week that pump prices could go up ahead of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries meeting in June and the US dollar's strong performance. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa has instructed the Bureau of Quarantine to hold thorough screenings at entry points for travelers coming from countries where the new COVID-19 flirt variants have been detected. The flirt variants refer to KP.2 and KP.3, which have been tagged by the World Health Organization as variants under monitoring. According to the Bureau of Quarantine, both variants descend from the JN.1 subvariant, which was responsible for COVID-19 infection increase in early 2024. The Bureau of Quarantine in its memorandum dated May 24 instructed all its stations to be on heightened alert. The Bureau reminds the public to practice basic health measures such as frequent hand washing, coughing etiquette, and avoiding crowded places. It also reminds travelers to complete the health questionnaire available on the e-travel application. On May 21, the Department of Health noted a small increase in COVID-19 infections in the country, but it also said all regions continue to be at low risk for the virus. The health department also stated that there is currently no scientific basis for travel restrictions to any country because of an increase in COVID-19 cases. Senate President Cheese Escudero protests insinuations he was picked to head the upper chamber for being a palace lackey. In a television interview, Escudero was asked about resigned Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri's supposed statement that there were outside forces involved in the chamber's leadership change and that Escudero was the only candidate that Palace wanted to replace Zubiri. Escudero says he found it unfair because nobody accused his predecessor Zubiri of being a palace lackey. He adds that the senators have always stood up and said they chose Zubiri as their Senate President. Escudero stresses that the palace has no hand in selecting the new Senate President and that senators are the ones who elect their new leader. When Zubiri announced his resignation on the Senate floor on May 20, he mentioned his supposed failure to follow instructions from the powers that be. But before the leadership change happened, Escudero said he was not interested in the Senate top post despite his concerns about the direction of the previous leadership of Zubiri, especially on the charter change issue. He said he had initiated a change in Senate leadership only on May 16. According to Escudero, he first called up Senator Bong Revilla, who later talked to Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Estrada is now holding the second top post in the chamber as Senate President pro tempore. Early this year, an alleged coup plot surfaced with Estrada rumored to replace Zubiri. Estrada previously denied these allegations. For his part, Escudero clarified he was not part of this supposed coup plot allegedly involving Estrada, saying the latter did not talk to him since he was abroad during that time. The organizers of the Filipino Academy of Movie Arts and Sciences apologizes to veteran actress Eva Darren after her removal as one of the presenters of the ceremony. This comes after Darren's son Fernando de la Peña called out Famas on social media. In a Facebook post, de la Peña says his mother was excited at having received an invitation to be one of the presenters of the event along with Tirso Cruz III. But he says this turned into dismay upon learning that she had been unceremoniously replaced without so much as a notice by the organizers. According to de la Peña, no explanation was offered for the last-minute change. In a statement, Famas claims Darren had to be replaced as she couldn't be located by the production team at the event. According to Famas, since the event was streamed live, Darren's supposed disappearance had to be remedied right away, which resulted in a last-minute search for her replacement. The organizers add that Darren's sudden replacement as a presenter was a misjudgment and not intentional. Famas' organizers say that while its apology to Darren cannot undo the repercussions of her exclusion, it hopes the screen veteran would allow its committee to make a personal visit to rebuild trust toward her.